Lord of the Rings Online is a free-to-play action-adventure MMORPG developed by Turbine and Standing Stone Games. The game features multiple races and classes to pick from and utilizes a classic tab-target combat system and is heavily based on story-driven questing. Since its release in 2008, the game has had multiple updates and expansions over the years, and has recently unlocked a bunch of its content to the free-to-play player community. And today we are going to be diving in to join the one adventure to rule them all. Before we jump in, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who subscribed to the channel. You guys are the heroes in my adventure. As always, thank you for watching, and enjoy. All right. Lord of the Rings Online. I'm excited. We got 4 character slots, which is awesome. At one point in time, I know that I've spent money on this game. It was ages ago. I'm not sure what all they've changed, what all they've added. I'm playing on the Brandywine server. They do have a role-playing server, and then they also have like a role-playing encouraged server. But as far as I'm concerned, if I want to role-play my character, I don't care if other people are going to participate or not. I'm ready to dive in. We're going to create a new character. Now, there is a video for all of the races. There's also a video for all of the classes as well. I could spend eternity here going over each and every one of them.
One eternity later.
So this is, let's learn about both the High Elves as well as the Warden.
Mighty foes of evil in ages past, the High Elves, whose kind once beheld the light of Valinor, have mostly departed from the world, bound for distant shores. Some remain, however, resisting the call of the sea, and using their fading power to make Middle-earth safe for days yet to come.
The Warden is a master of the spear and javelin, sworn to protect those that cannot protect themselves. At home, in the thick of melee, the Warden weaves powerful combinations of attacks to fell her foes and strengthen her own resolve against the Dark Lord.
Enter Middle-earth. As I loaded into Middle-earth, I was immediately assaulted by beginner guide panels, the ins and outs of character movement, and my selected class guides and login rewards. After a few minutes of fumbling through inventory space and my character panel, I learned that your entire UI is customizable. Nice. Fantastic. Okay. Left control backslash is how you can move any and all UI stuff that you would like to move around to customize your interface. After gathering my bearings and oogling my elven warden's appearance, I dove headlong into the story. And let me tell you, the writing of the quests and the dialogue did not disappoint me. I realized that my character stood before the steps of Mordor, before the Black Gate, and that I was about to take part in a historical event on Middle-earth. As a novice writer and a book lover, let me see if I can captivate you the same way that this prelude captured me. The year is 3434 of the Second Age. I, Valaril, Warden of the High Elves and friend to man, stand ready before my king, Lord Gil-galad, High King of the Elves, and the assembled armies of Elendil, King of Men, and his son, Isildur. My friend and ally Elrond looks on at the burning fires and trenches swarming with orcs, and worse. I am drawn from my reverie as a messenger approaches. The Nine have revealed themselves, with a message for the free people. The High Kings of both men and elves search the field to meet the Gwytheran head-on. My heart pounds as I feel my feet fall in tow with the Lord of Rivendell. Elrond's brow creases as their shadowy forms come into view, like living darkness cast behind the fires of the burning fields. 9 wraiths sat high upon nightmarish steeds saunter within spear's reach. Their message is clear. Surrender or die. There will be no diplomacy this day, nor any other to come, only wanton death until Sauron, the Lord of Mordor, is thrown down, or we perish in the attempt. Now, to save from spoilers, let's just say it didn't quite go down the way that I thought it was going to, but the writing is good and it's compelling. There is a novel's worth of reading going on in this game. That doesn't bother me as a player, but I do know that could turn away some, potential players that are like, ugh, that's way too much. There's a lot of description and a lot going on. Okay, let's talk about the questing, which in Lord of the Rings Online are very story-driven and immersive. Now, some of the quests do feel like busy work, your typical go here, gather this, or run there and slay that kind of MMO classic questing. But each NPC I encountered had a minimum of a page length of reasoning behind their desire for whatever task they wanted accomplished. And as I already said, it was well written. So the depth of Lotro's questing at lower levels was still engaging. Now, the epic quest for whatever region you were in or class race combo you decided to play retained an overarching urgency to what felt like a real story. These quests had me scouring the countryside because I was just hungry for more. Alright, hold on a second. Before we get too deep into the praise, look at this map. This thing is abysmal. The minimap is also a steaming pile of goblin shit. With no ability to move the map in any way or zoom in or out, it was better to just take notes or try to remember an NPC's location rather than to use that 4-year-old's drawing that they called a map. Alright, let's move on. Alright, let's talk about crafting. At low level, you're allowed to choose a vocation, which gives you 3 trade skills to work on. I selected Explorer because I am noob and had no idea what I was doing. But early on, the recipes were simple and worth the effort to craft, as they were better than the quest rewards that I was receiving. And majority of the items required, in my case animal hides, I was already getting from slaughtering the local fauna. Alright, let's talk about class traits. Now, I'm not 100% sure at what levels you gain traits, but you get them. And with them, each character class has 3 trees to choose from. Blue, which was Tanky Boy for the Warden, Red, which was Big Damage Boy, and Yellow, which I didn't read because I wanted to be Big Damage Boy. But each tree had its own set of skills you could unlock and granted passive bonuses to your current abilities. So now my Warden's Gambit Builders, or regular attack skills, were receiving a bonus to damage that scaled to 25%. World immersion. The game's world feels alive. From the towns to the local wildlife, I really enjoyed the overall aesthetic of Middle-earth, sometimes feeling a bit lost in Tolkien's vision. When I went to the forge, NPCs would be working the billows or tinkering away at a table. Suppliers were strolling around town as if delivering their goods to the local merchant stalls. Bards were playing music and lore masters studying dusty tomes. It was easy to envision these locations as alive rather than a bunch of quest givers and class trainers all standing in a circle waiting for the protagonist to arrive. It felt good to explore these places just to see what people were up to. There was a lot of running around, a lot of long distance travel in the game. But the region, the countryside, the night sky, whether it's daytime or nighttime, this area, at least this zone, is very aesthetically pleasing. So I'm not bothered with all the travel. I mean, it's a journey, it's an adventure, not a destination. The combat is growing on me. It's nothing new. It's not bad combat. I would also just like to point out that I made a High Elven character, and he shouts in High Elven. Or in Elven. I have no idea what he's talking about. But I will shout a bird apart. Okay, before we talk about deeds, let's talk about the cash shop. Riding bundle, chestnut steed. The riding skill, you have to purchase the riding skill through the store? Ooh.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Yeah, it's hot garbo, and I was a little pissed to discover, although the game said I had the riding skill at level 5, it failed to mention that I had to purchase it from the cash shop for 95 Lothlórien points. Now this is a big turnoff. So what you're telling me is that I have unlocked the right to use real money to learn to ride a horse? What they also failed to mention was that deeds give you Lothlórien points. Okay, let me explain. So while you're running around Middle-earth, becoming invested in lore and sending creatures back to the Shadow Realm one boop to the snoot at a time, you will notice that as you kill things or discover locations, messages will appear saying that you've unlocked a new deed. Now these can be as simple as kill 90 wolves or discover all the elven ruins in your current region. But there are also class deeds, like use your Stabby McStabberson skill 500 times. You're going to be doing that anyway, so why not do it on some wolves and kill 2 birds with 1 stone? Now don't get me wrong, it's grindy, and you only get 5 to 10 cash shop points per deed. But by the time I finished the Slayer deeds, I had more than enough points to buy the riding skill. Alright, let's move on to character progression and leveling. It felt almost seamless as I turned in quest and moved throughout Heirloom, fighting wolves, goblins, bears, and dwarves. No, not the cool ones that retook the Lonely Mountain. My warden felt stronger and stronger with each upgrade, be it gear or a class trait or reaching the next level to unlock a new gambit maneuver that healed me and allowed me to slaughter groups of little Santas wholesale. Every time I thought I knew what the game was, Lothlórien has another small quirk or quality of life perk that made the game that much more engaging. I know why this game has stood the test of time. For example, you have a loot bag in the bottom right of your screen that holds all potential loot of everything that you have killed. And it holds it for up to an hour. You can just quest unhindered without worrying about, did I loot these enemies or not? And this is just one of many small perks or upgrades that I just keep discovering as I play the game. As my adventure continued, I discovered community hubs where players could purchase real space housing and decorate their home to their heart's desire. Outside the player housing instance was a homestead vendor that allowed you to browse the available homes and tour them to discover if it was not only the right house for you, but also to check out the neighborhood. Within these homestead instances were an assortment of vendors, one of which sold furniture and decorations to get you started on designing your hero's abode. I've always enjoyed MMOs that have player housing. For me, it allows your character to establish roots to a region or community that you feel they belong to. Each homestead came with a limit to the amount of decor that you could place and an initial cost, which was very affordable, as well as an upkeep that I'm sure comes weekly or monthly. As I continued to play and dive deeper into Middle-earth, I discovered virtues. Virtues are slottable passive bonuses that you begin to gain access to at level 7. I did not discover them at level 7. But these traits can be slotted to increase the overall strength of your hero, allowing you to either min-max your combat potential or shore up something that they're weak at. You're able to choose a single virtue to earn XP for as you complete deeds, and instances these virtues increase in power, giving you greater bonuses to your character. Just one more cool feature that Lothlórien has going for it. So upon reaching level 20, I wanted to try my hand at doing some group content using the instance finder. What a mess. Now I understand it's a 2007 game, but this needs fixed. It's difficult to navigate with little to no description as to how the panel works, so in my noobness I clicked launch and traveled to a dungeon solo, and although I beat the initial encountered enemies, I knew I was way out of my depth, so I hearthstoned back to Bree and tried to figure out this pile of weird. Okay, so how I think it's supposed to work is you either create a looking for group, or you look for one to join that is doing a dungeon or instance that you want to do. But good luck picking one. There's no description as to the difference between them and or what level you should be. It's clunky, and at 3 a.m. I couldn't find anyone to play with me. We'll try again tomorrow. Okay. The next afternoon, I jumped back into the game and decided not only was I going to figure out this instance skirmish dilemma, but I'd asked the community to see how the Lothlórien player base fielded my noobness. Man, was I delighted to be sent whispers immediately on where I should go to learn about skirmishes, the first skirmish or instance I should join to get my feet wet. I was even asked if I wanted to join a guild, which in Lothlórien is called a kinship. Scorched earth, here I come. I was welcomed with open arms and even asked about my YouTube channel. Very friendly, super helpful, and just an overall good experience. Thanks for having me, guys. Okay, so we've joined a kin. People in this game are friendly. I like that. So I poked around the instance finder some more. Still a choose your chat adventure. So fuck it. I picked one and dove in to see if the love for my warden was enough to carry him through a 3-man solo. Lord of the Rings Online has some glaring cons. The map, the instance finder, to name my least favorite aspects. But this game is a diamond in the rough, and the pros heavily outweigh the cons. The remainder of this video is my solo attempt to save a giant eagle's egg. It's about time someone saved them for once. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.